Starting stream. Hello, and welcome to the stream. We are recording this, so we're going to kind of pretend like this is a recording / stream. And so if you come in later or you're just catching this recording, we appreciate you listening to us live as well as listening to us after the fact as well. And we are trying to stream on Mondays, anywhere between, the start of our stream will be anywhere between 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific. We'll probably try to batten that down a little bit more. Maybe we'll just try to split the difference. But we definitely were fighting some fight some tech gremlins or something like that. But we'll definitely see. Audio all good on everything? Do you hear us?
Give me 1 second. I'm going to mute my mic so you don't get both.
Okay. So Brent, you want to say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody. We look good. I can see us. I can see the stream going.
Okay, perfect. So with that in mind, I think we're going to go ahead and say everything is good. Since we're still kind of novices, we don't trust the system enough just to kind of go 100% right out of the gate. So we appreciate you guys catching this first little bit and seeing kind of how the sausage is made, I guess, when it's made by amateurs.
Not making sausage.
Well, I mean, kind of.
I understand it's a saying, but still not making sausage.
You know what? I don't need your back talk or something.
That's
sort of negativity.
Yeah, we're already off to a negative start. Uh-oh.
Let's be happy.
Let's be happy. We're really happy people. So, and obviously, because we're so happy, we want to play games, and we're playing games all the time, every day, all day. I'm lying. We don't do that. But we are running actually 2 games. And so as for a reminder, this is a Fabula Ultima game. So we are playing the tabletop version of a JRPG. We are bringing our 2 players, Brent and Jeff, who are going to be coming together this session. Because last session we had our prologue session, which was kind of like a highlight for both of their characters to kind of get a little bit of kind of get into the skin or start wearing the shoes of, depending on what kind of saying you want to use. And this time we're going to be playing through and actually getting the gang together. Now, because it is a 2-person game, obviously there'll probably be some tweaks that I'll try just to kind of make it a little more balanced for them. But running a smaller table can be a little bit different. The types of things that you do combat wise and all that will be possibly different, but who knows? We'll have to see what transpires. So without further ado, I believe we can begin. Does anybody have anything else that they want to say before we start?
No, just ready to play again.
Nope, sounds perfect.
All right. So get your on. That's not really a thing. Let's continue. Okay. So when last we left, we're going to start with Brent's character, and this is going to be kind of a scene that is kind of an interlude scene. So Brent, this is going to be your character. You're going to be on the sky barge along with some of the other heralds, because as you remember, you were kind of directly taken from your small ship and brought directly to another for an immediate redeployment, which is very unusual. Usually heralds tend to be kind of like they get a new set of orders, have a little bit of R&R so they don't burn out and all those kind of things. But the fact that you were pretty much met at the sky dock, taken to another ship, and then shipped right off again is already an unusual situation.
So it is heralds on the ship, not just...
Yeah, it's a small cadre of heralds. It's about 12 heralds. And so, I say small, but that feels like a larger group already, since heralds tend to travel in very small groups at the most anyways, just because of the nature of the work and how few heralds there are because of the specialized nature of your condition.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Okay, makes sense. I just wasn't clear last time.
Yeah, no. Yep. That's why I wanted to clear it up before we got going and everything like that.
Okay.
And so right now, the ship is getting ready to set sail, and the person who seems to be leading this expedition is a herald by the name of Umbris. You know Umbris as a veteran of your Ninth Order. He's definitely been in the Ninth Order for a lot longer than you, and in fact, he was one of the people that you menteed under during the time when you were going through your obligatory training to go from the 10th Order to the Ninth Order. So you are pretty familiar with this individual, and he's a very capable and very rigid herald, if that makes sense. And so when he comes over to kind of press orders into your hand, you can tell that something is a little bit different about it. He glances down at you and he says, "It seems you've been chosen for a mission commissioned by the First Order and approved by the Triumph itself. Here." And you can tell that there's a little bit of jealousy in his voice.
Okay. Well, being chosen for such an honor, I'm pretty proud of myself. So, but I'll take the order and thank him for passing the order along, and read the go to my quarters and read the letter. I don't think I'll read the letter in public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so basically, he kind of like looks at you and he kind of watches you walk away. Kind of you have the orders clasped in your hand. The seal pristine. Obviously, the intricacy on the seal alone is is quite nice, because the First Order being kind of the topmost place to strive for within the heralds. This is crazy, because it's very rare for the First Order to be, asking for assistance from anybody of the Ninth Order. Usually they would go with somebody of a higher order, let's just say.
Yeah.
When you get to your quarters, you do notice that within your quarters, there's actually already stacked some materials. You actually see books, scrolls, and a few other things set aside on like kind of a small desk. And of course, you have your bed and your other rest type things, a chair and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'll sit and I will read the letter.
Okay. So the letter basically, it from the First Order is, it kind of starts off, it's a little bit more flowery in the prose that they've chosen. It starts off basically saying, Herald, oh geez, I already forgot your name. Jesus.
Character sheet it is.
Yeah, I got to get that back up. It basically says, Herald, for your outstanding performance and your rise to the ranks, we feel that there is a special mission that you will be able to participate with, a joint operation with the country of Zepros. Now, reading down this, it seems kind of like it's just a kind of a normal form letter. It doesn't seem as though there's a lot of uniqueness to it. But the idea being is that it outlines that you're going to be assigned on a joint mission with members of a country called Zepros. It details that this is a new burgeoning alliance between the two countries, that it isn't really formulated yet. So you're expected to be on your best behavior, and you will meet heralds there that will provide you with the details of the mission. It's too sensitive to be fully disclosed within the contents of this letter for obvious reasons. And so it also suggests that you are given materials to help you understand the language, culture, idioms, et cetera, of Zepros, so you can have a better understanding of the people that you will be working with.
Okay, and do I have an idea of how long it's going to be before we get to Zepros?
With this type of barge, not very long. You probably suspect it'll be just a few days, like 3 or 4.
Okay.
And your name is Ozias, right?
Yes, it's Ozias. Yeah, I was going to say that, but
yeah, I was just like, my brain just like, whoops.
Yeah, it happens, especially with more than one game. So what I will do then is I will basically plan to study for the next couple of days, unless something comes up and somebody gets me from my quarters.
Nope. And you could tell that these documents read more like a travel guide version of Zepros. Like from the outside looking in, the types of foods they eat, the types of behaviors, the mannerisms, and everything like that. Pretty much everything that you would think as a diplomat, from your diplomatic training that you would need to know to interact with them without causing some sort of cultural faux pas or something.
Right.
So you won't immediately go over there and try to, shake their nose or something like that.
Gotcha.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so it's pretty much an uninterrupted thing. You do notice that the other heralds of the Ninth Order do kind of give you birth for this time, and you don't know if it's just one of those things where they're just not talking to you, or maybe a little hint of jealousy. Like I said, it's one of those where they may feel that they were passed over for a mission of the import, and to have specifically the gaze with the triumph on them.
I kind of just assume that they're just letting me study, so I don't really think much of it.
Perfect. That's exactly what they want you to think. I'm just kidding.
Well, that's good, because that's exactly what I think.
That's good. So basically, as you travel for the next few days, it doesn't take you very long to reach the island, or the island oasis of Zepro. You can tell that the floating island it's quite impressive. As you may guess, it's more technologically focused, and so a lot of the things that you see, as opposed to your own oasis, seem to be fueled by more mundane technology. There doesn't seem to be using the same type of arc reactors and all of those kind of things that you guys use, and you can immediately tell in the architecture. Outside of that, you can see the thing that you can really smell is just the smoke that comes from the island. Even though they use a variety of wind powers and everything like that, there are things that they need for heavy energy uses, and so there are some smaller kind of refinement plants and stuff like that cause a different reek of technology, one could say.
Okay.
You can, as you approach the sky dock, you can tell that you've been directed to kind of a farther away one, and it looks like this one seems to have a more military / attaché presence. Like there's very few domestic looking ships or anything like that. But what you do see is it does give you kind of a good look of the town. You can see from up at this part of it, it's very much a winding upon itself kind of city.
Mm-hmm.
You can see things like, oh gosh, you can see things like, steam chariot or steam. What are those things called? Steam carts, like the steam carriages. That's what I'm looking for. You see steam carts. You just see you see people walking around. You see turbines pushing wind power and stuff like that throughout the city, and it's a different view entirely from what you have in Archon. It's very alien, almost feeling. Just the kind of life here seems chaotic and not conjoined or anything like that. It seems very much all over the place. In the center of the island, you can see probably the namesake, the academy. The academy itself being a large enough campus that you can't see. You can't not see it when you're coming in from the skyports and everything like that. The centerpiece, of course, being kind of a large clock tower. I wouldn't say like think Big Ben, but think in like that kind of majesty, a very intricate clock tower that stands.
Like a really intricate. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That kind of displays more of a testament to mechanical function. And I don't know about you guys, but like clocks and everything like that, the intricacies of the gears and everything like that have a certain sense of precision, certain sense of technology. And this is just how the people of Zepros have chosen to demonstrate their mastery over the technological arts. The next, so basically, once you arrive, you're kind of greeted by a couple, I would say, attaches from the diplomatic corps of Zepros, and they take you pretty much immediately to what would be like the equivalent of a bunker. You're kind of led to what would be an administrative building, but rather than going up into the administrative building, you go down.
Okay, makes sense.
Have you guys ever been in Churchill's bunker or even seen what that is over in London?
No,
I think I've
never been
seen
to
it,
London.
but I've never been to London.
So to kind of give you a sense of it is that you pretty much look like you're going like once you go into it, you're pretty much like in a fox warren of tunnels, rooms, and every other thing that you would expect that has been carved out. Now it's kind of weird that it feels like you're being brought into this type of area because this is definitely like a, this is where you hide things that you don't want to get hit, sensitive data and all those kind of things. So the fact that you're kind of being woven through these narrow hallways and everything like that is kind of strange. But you're eventually led to kind of an underground room where you see that there are some other people sitting already there. Uh, the first person that you notice is actually an individual that seems to be very well dressed. He introduces himself as Agent Lark. He is attended by a cadet Morgan, and then to his right, there is Colonel Blackthorn, a professor, an elderly man with a white beard that you know as Professor Gareth. And then there is a younger individual. Jeff, just to remind everybody of your character, do you want to go ahead and describe your character so that everybody remembers who you are?
Yeah, I'm about average height, but I stand out because my skin tone is darker. Not by a lot, but I appear more weathered, maybe.
Mhm.
Like suntanned.
Mhm.
My clothes seem like they're taken care of, but seem to be slightly out of fashion. Like not the most current style. I mean, it stands out, especially in a room of well dressed individuals, that I'm wearing something from a few cycles ago.
Mhm.
But it seems like I take care of it. I'm attentive. I stay behind the professor, or by his side, and seem to be quiet. But my eyes are looking everywhere, watching all of the interactions very closely.
Okay. And so basically that small group of individuals are on one side of a long table, and on the other side of the table, you see that there is a herald of the Second Order. And Brent, you immediately recognize this person. This is Akalia. This is Akalia's. What you would say is not the head of the Second Order, but when you say like vice chair of that order, that's who this is. So pretty high in the ranks. And then you also see a herald of the Fourth Order, Theros. Both of these individuals, like they're the people that you see, when you're looking down, speaking to a room of heralds. They're the people giving the speeches and everything like
Mhm.
that. They look like they're there all business, and they're actually dressed in the standard herald attire. There's nothing really special about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, we
Um,
all look pretty eerily the same, actually.
exactly.
Well, because you have masks, correct?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, like dark, kind of like steel mask, and then a full body, like a full body suit that covers almost like a still suit with gloves.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then like a kind of a Romanate cloth over the top. So like we all look eerily the same.
Yeah.
Right.
But you
The
guys
high,
know you guys
yeah,
know each
and the
other.
highest ranking one of us has like a Roman crest,
Mhm.
with different colors for each order. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can tell that there's differences, but other than that, I'm baffled.
Like yeah, the difference between it is that you just see three people that look the same, and basically
Right.
and Brent's being
Yeah.
brought in.
I'm trying to figure out what the differences are, but I'm struggling at the moment.
But obviously, Brent, you see them and you immediately see some elders of your order
yeah,
already kind of present. And they, Akalia basically says,
and you
please.
can probably tell a difference of rank, even though we look the same. You could probably tell.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
So
it's subtle, but it's there.
yeah, I sit next
Sure,
to the other
yeah.
two on our
Mhm.
side.
I'm sure if I observe long enough, I'll start to figure it out. Just body language and deference, and like you can kind of tell.
And so yeah, and so you looking at the three heralds, Colonel Blackthorn kind of stands. He gives a greeting and says, "Welcome to the city of Zepros. We're we're really happy that you chose to accept our invitation. because we feel like this is something that we can't handle alone. We know that Acheron doesn't exactly have a hands-on approach to some of the other oases, especially the larger oases like ours. But we've made some serious inroads diplomatically, and we feel it's only right that we share this type of information. Now, he looks in, of course, the two heralds nod, and they're very quiet and stoic. So obviously, if you're trying to read the herald, you can tell that it's like that one situation where if you have one person that's trying to gauge the impression that they're making, and then another person who's just basically a block of stone, and they just kind of look like they're sweating uncomfortably because they just don't get any feedback. That's kind of where Colonel Blackthorn is in this whole discussion. What he does, though, is he does push over a crystal, and the crystal itself, he says, this is something that we worked incredibly hard to get from one of our spies inside of Torin. Now, he kind of looks and kind of says, before you say, do we have spies everywhere? The answer is yes, except in Acheron, and for obvious reasons. But he pushes it over to you, and he basically taps it, and it plays. Now, do you guys remember the prophecy from the
very beginning? Honestly, I don't remember the
A
details.
little bit, but not details.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, that once he hits the play button, it says, "As stars converge in cosmic dance, a Taurus island shall emerge, a nexus of power, both ethereal and earthly. From its heart, the soul engine shall awaken, its hum a symphony of creation and destiny. An army of the faithful, united and unyielding, shall rise like an unbreakable tide, their purpose bound to the Taurus's arc. In unity, they shall channel the soul's radiance. For this convergence lies the key to shape and reshape the tapestry of worlds." And so that basically replays when he hits that device.
Okay. So it appears to be a recording device.
Yeah,
and just audio
device.
Audio, as well as kind of like a display comes up, and it kind of ghost writes the text in there. Okay. And he looks at the three of you, and he's like, we have from a reliable source important information that believes that this is mobilizing some of Torin's most high-ranking members of the militants order. And he kind of looks and he says, "You probably are aware of High Marshal Zahn." And he kind of like looks for recognition. He doesn't get it. He moves on. And he says, High Marshal Zahn himself seems to be leading it seems to be leading a small force of the militants in response to this prophecy being decoded. Unfortunately, we really don't know what it means. We've tried to decode it, and he kind of points to Professor Gareth. That's why we've brought some experts from our side. Gareth has not seen this either, as his protege, but we also wanted to bring this into you since this information is so new. And so basically Professor Gareth kind of looks at it. He takes it, plays it a couple times, and then he kind of hands it to you, kind of, and says, "Well, what do you think of this, Drum?"
I sort of study it. I said it seems to be pretty incredible technology or magic. I guess I don't know how I would determine which one it is. Yeah, I don't really have much to add looking at it, other than I'm pretty impressed with the compactness of the crystal and what it seems to be able to do. But I don't seem to be able to figure out, I don't think, how it's working.
If you want, you can, if you're interested in seeing like the actual inner.
Well, the tinkerer part of my brain starting to take over. Yeah, as I turn it around in my hands, I'm starting to want to make connections onto how to make it work.
Okay, if you want to use an insight, you can kind of investigate the object.
Okay.
This is kind of a unique object in itself, and so um,
All right. Let's
go ahead.
do an insight.
Okay.
Just
All
taking
right.
forever to roll.
Oops.
There we go.
Let's see.
Yeah. An 11.
Okay, you have an 11 there.
Yeah, I have a 10 and a 1.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't see those dice. That's too bad. I'll refresh my screen real quick.
They're on the
All right.
stream though.
So basically an 11. So the standard being 10. Looking at the device, you actually see that it is magical in nature. Now, the exact magic is hard to really discern at a glance, but the ability for it to respond to these types of plays, it seems as though the it would be some sort of geomancy or something like that. Now, as for the recording device itself, it seems like it's what's weird about it is it seems as though the message itself is just something that's taken and kind of from another hole. This isn't like an original device. It looks too new to be that way. So this looks to have been manufactured the same way that you might make like a letter or something like that.
Okay.
Blackthorn introduces the other person next to him, and he says, "This is Agent Lark. This was one of his agents was able to procure this. This is one of the standard messages that the Taurans use when kind of disseminating information, and kind of adds that to it."
Okay.
As for the prophecy itself, do you guys Gareth says, well, what about the prophecy? Now, I know your tribe has different learnings than say us up here in Zepro, but what do you think?
Well, we certainly, the surface dwellers, do have our own lore, and we fall under the domain of the different oases, but we also have influences from all of them because the oases came from the surface, right? The cataclysm caused them to be thrust up into the sky, and so we have bits and pieces of lore and knowledge and myth from all of the places. I'm trying to think if I recall, anything, about the soul engine and those types of things. Do you want me to do a check on that, or just?
So in this case, yeah, why don't you do a check to see if there's anything? And this is also an insight check to remember anything useful.
That is a 6. I feel like I'm stumped at the moment.
Yeah. So I need to get better about telling you the difficulty prior to, but if I don't mention the difficulty overtly, just assume that it's 10 because that's the standard difficulty.
Okay.
For
Makes sense.
Ultima.
That's fair.
Okay.
I'm not recalling anything specific, Professor. But I, perhaps with some time and a transcript, we would have some keywords to look through some of the older tomes at the university. I know that you have been collecting things from the surface, through some of my contacts, and that we might be able. There may have been some things that have been sent up. Unfortunately, on the surface, some things are passed down through story only because we don't have as much magic and as much technology and as much wealth as the Oases do. So we have a very story-based tradition. So, writings, while we can write, are few and far between.
That is fair. This is quite the puzzling piece of information that they've dropped. And Agent Lark mentions they say it's a prophecy, and he goes on to explain that the Ascended One has given them prophecies, and he describes, based on the secondhand experience, that there's a there's a literal room with crystals that basically float about, and there are, what would be better ways of doing this, diviners that try their best to sort these prophecies, but for whatever reason, that, this is part myth, this is part understanding of it, is that the prophecies reveal themselves when they're intended, according to these members of the ecclesiarchy. So they spend all of their
Interesting.
time trying to divine these prophecies for them to be revealed at the right time, according to them. So this being revealed so recently, they believe that this is the right time for what we can only assume is them to build an army of faithful to take over the other
It
oases.
sounds like a revolution. I mean, I would agree with that conclusion.
Yeah.
Just on the surface, whether there's a deep prophecy often has deeper meanings interwoven that aren't readily viewable at first glance. Whether this prophecy works like that, I don't know. This is a little out of my area.
So out of character to what they said they have a small force that is already moving out, or they're just amassing their forces.
They have a small force that's already in pursuit of this prophecy.
Okay, so I look to the other two heralds, like asking permission to speak, because I won't speak without the permission of the other heralds, being their higher rank.
And you get a nod. Acalia nods.
So I say, if it's a smaller force, then is it possible that they're looking for this item that they're speaking of in this prophecy, this soul engine?
It could be. The problem is that in the entirety of Ur, at least according to their records, and why don't you go ahead and roll for me an insight as well, Brent?
All right.
I know that's not your strong suit, but
It is not. I also rolled a 6.
Good job. So basically, it could be that, in the fewest words possible, Acalia pretty much mentions that, it's very likely that they're on a quest to search for the soul engine. That is true. However, key parts of this have not been explained. So first of all, as stars converge, and Acalia goes into mention that we are not aware of any cosmic events that would be of significance to indicate that there is a once a millennia or anything, once a millennia type of thing. Now, admittedly, we're not, as astronomers or anything like that. And also the other thing is that they say a Taurus island. A Taurus island is a kind of a unique shape. And just for your guys' information, Tauruses are donut shaped, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
so Taurus, like Taurus.
Correct.
Not
the shape of a bowl.
I thought Taurus was related to Tauran. Sorry. So
no,
that's my mistake.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure. And
Appreciate
so a Taurus shape is a kind of a donut shaped. And so the idea that it is, an island that emerges that's donut shaped.
Do we know of any off? I mean, that seems like it would be something that would stand out.
Exactly.
I mean, that's if we're taking this absolutely literally and don't assume it's some sort of code.
Correct. But those two things are the biggest question marks, because at least the Heralds of Kalia mentions that they don't have any records of either any kind of cosmic occurrence that will happen or an island that's shaped like a Taurus.
Okay.
And Gareth kind of uses that, and he kind of squints his face, and he's like, it's not necessarily our specialty to read the stars, and we all know that is hard as it is, because it's complicated by the fact that the detritus makes it impossible to ever have a clear enough view of the sky. So it's more effort than people have really been willing to put in at the university. But there is a group of people, and he kind of like and he basically says they're on the Oasis of Quarth, and both of you are have not heard of Quarth, just so you know. Um,
Okay.
he mentions that it's an independent oasis. It's smaller, but there's a tribe that has lived on there for some time, and they call themselves the star readers, star seekers, whatever their ancient language has changed it into. Um, and they happen to be very adept at these types of readings. Maybe if we focus on just the as stars converge component of this, we could understand a little bit more as to when this is supposed to happen, rather than kind of guesswork and all those things. Because maybe there isn't a Taurus island to be seen because it's waiting for this star's convergence.
Maybe. I think that's an excellent idea, Professor. I think we should journey there and find out.
Okay, well,
I
great.
seem a little eager.
He's like, well, the good news is this is going to be your first field work, Drum. And he kind of looks at you, clamps you on the shoulder, and he's like, this I think we can trust you with this. And kind of and
Thank you, Professor.
Akalia and Theros both look at you, Oz, and they say, well, we don't want this mission to be higher profile than need be. And we have selected Oz. Or do you prefer to go by your full name?
You can just call him Oz. If they're calling him Oz, that's fine.
Oh, well, he can call him Ozias. So
he would probably use his full name then, yeah.
Okay. Well, Ozias was selected from our ninth order because Ozias shows remarkable talent. But being as that he's from the ninth order, it wouldn't give any overtures that major things are happening. So they look at you and they kind of like, they give you, because you know how there's kind of like some body language that the Acheronians can use between each other. They give you the kind of symbols through the body language that indicate that this is a great honor for you to do this, and it's also important that you succeed in this mission no matter what. And there's the emphasis on the no matter what.
Right.
Period. And of course, Jeff, all you see kind of like them changing posture, adjusting themselves.
You see three guys in black staring at each other.
And they have kind of a conversation
It feels like something's going on. I don't understand what it is.
And I probably would salute, indicating that it's an honor, and nod my head in understanding.
Yes. And so they look, and Colonel Blackthorn basically uses this opportunity. He's like, well, we will provide a ship. This is going to be just to kind of obfuscate this mission. We are going to give you a basic skiff that is enough space for both of you to go, but it will allow you to kind of move, hopefully unseen, through the various types of things until you can reach this island of Quarth. And so, do you guys have any questions for anybody?
I asked the professor if he has any last minute information for me. I'm assuming that we are getting, some sort of directions.
No, he just says, good luck.
Get on the ship and go.
Find Quarth.
So go ahead and answer Jeff's question first.
Yeah. I mean, they basically give you a chart that shows the proposed location of where Quarth should be. Obviously, with the shifting of islands and everything like that, you may have to make it. Sure. You may have to adjust your trajectories and everything, but that's another reason why you're there, is because obviously you can do the math for them.
Is this going to be a man ship, or is it just going to be a 2-man ship?
Oh, it's a 2-man ship. Obviously, okay. With them wanting to stay under the radar as much as possible. I mean, you already draw enough attention, Brent, being the fact that you're Acheronian, but the fact that it's a smaller vessel, et cetera, should allow you to pass without too many questions.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we could sail it was the biggest deal.
Yep, it's you guys can. Especially as a herald, you are proficient and trained in those types of things in case your thrall stops
Right.
functioning for whatever reason.
That's kind of what I figured.
Jeff, that's not necessarily your cup of tea, but you are good at navigation and all those kinds of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Adventure awaits.
Yep.
So the first thing I will do is travel back to the Acheronian ship, get the few belongings that I have, my spear, my shield, my pack, and then I will go to the ship.
Okay. Jeff, what about you? Do you have anything that you'd want to do before you?
I since I thought I was just going to work, I mean, I would like to pack some of my meager belongings and also let my landlady know that, I would like to stop at the university and pick up a few items that I need, notebook, a little bit of research material. I know it's not a big boat, so I'm not, but some stuff. And then I would like to go back, but I could be ready, to leave probably by evening.
Okay.
Or, definitely first thing in the morning. It seems urgent.
I do tell you, we can leave when you're ready. I'll be waiting on the ship.
Okay. Yeah, I shouldn't be long, but there is, it's mostly travel time. And I
tell you, if there's anything you need assistance with, that's where you can find me, is the ship.
Okay.
Okay. Now, out of curiosity, are you going to try, and this is just as a reminder from the prologue, are you going to try to make any kind of arrangements to at least postpone any possible consequences from
I'm going to try, but I'm going to give her some money and, try and pay for rent in advance because I know money is an issue.
He doesn't say, "Hey, you look scary. Can you come talk to this guy with me?"
Well, yeah, I mean, my two choices are to try and move something up, which seems unlikely. Like it all seems like it's going to go bad. That's all I'm saying. But I will talk to her and see what happens. I don't know how you want to handle that.
Okay. Well, she's very.
You did have a couple military guys in there. You could have asked to see if they could put the squeeze on the guy for you.
Yeah, could you intervene
Since
with
I'm leaving.
Local money lenders?
I mean,
I've sort of gotten myself in a spot of bother.
I need help with this thuggery.
Well, I mean, if that's the direction you want to go, we can pursue that. I'm just curious. I just wanted to ask before you forgot from that component.
No, I don't know how this is. I mean, she got some money, so maybe we can postpone it until next month or something. I don't know. But I am going to make a rather large contribution. Not everything, but
okay.
That's one of the reasons I need to go back to university because I have my money stashed there.
Not in the really destitute tenement house? That seems weird.
Just saying. The place with the door locks.
Okay, that's fair.
Never store your stuff where the crackheads live. That's probably where it's to live by.
Just saying. I'm just saying, man. I'm trying to help. I started something. I'm not trying to run out on it, but it seems very important to everybody. So.
It's like when we were in Baltimore. Don't carry excess money.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you could if you want to, but it just depends on the part of town you're in, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere you took us, yes.
What? I took you to all the fun spots.
Baltimore was fun. It was also interesting, and
we enjoyed it.
Slightly life-threatening in a couple of moments.
You'll still hear. It wasn't that bad. So after you guys you pack, Brent, you go to the ship. You find that it's your typical. Like you've seen these types of ship in the normal course of your heralding activities. This is a more of a personal ship. It's obviously not huge, but there is enough space for you and Jeff to like move comfortably out. There are quarters below deck, separate spaces for both you and Jeff to be not in each other's business. But above deck, obviously, you have a kind of like a shelter for steer that carries all of your steering components and everything like that. The type of balloon that it uses is a very durable balloon. It doesn't inflate or deflate on its own. You have to basically use the machinery itself to either pump more hot air into it to get it to rise higher, or you can let out air, of course, to get it to go lower.
So while I'm waiting for him, that's what I'll basically do, is familiarize myself with the kind of what the workings of the ship, just to get ready to pilot it, and then stuff like that.
Yep. So it's not. It's not incredibly complicated, and of course, if you obviously need help, there's a person on the docks there that can kind of work you through the ship and everything to make sure you're.
I kind of try not to talk to anybody on the docks because I don't want to make this seem any more. I don't want to stand out any more than we already have with this whole situation, because I don't want anybody to know, as kind of their direction. Like, it's important that no one knows that this is.
You're leaving. You're not leaving from the standard skyport. You're leaving from that port that you arrived in at that has nothing but military.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Still, I wouldn't even want to draw attention in their military channels if I can avoid it.
Okay.
So I probably wouldn't go out very much, if at all.
Okay. You just kind of like get on the boat and kind of like poof.
Yep. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Because now they've already said they're spies, and if they're spies, Zepros has spies. Taran could just as easily have spies in Zepros. So
you could.
That's true.
It's a good call out.
Yep, it's very, very true. Okay, so we've got you, Jeff. Have you decided how you wanted to approach this? Did you want to?
I'm gonna pick up the stuff at the university, which should go without issue.
Okay.
Pull some money, 100 Zenit out of my stash, to give to the landlady. Plus, I don't know, whatever my rent is a month, to pay her a month, and I don't know how long I'm going to be gone, but pay her the next month in advance. Okay. And then I want to talk to her and see if she was able to, learn anything more, or, if they'd paid another visit or that kind of stuff.
They hadn't, not today, but that would be a total of 250 Zenit, just so you know, because it's 5 Zenit a day for your tenement stay.
So that's 150. Okay. So 250.
Yep. So just so you're aware that using the I'm just going with the standard 30 calendar day, because I did not
that's fine.
Create a new calendar for this world.
27 days a month, 12 and a half hours in a day.
Those Gregorian monks are just all over the multiverse.
Pretty much
600 months in a year.
Yeah. So the problem is that this is the slowest moving planet around the orbit of a celestial body.
I will talk to the professor. Honestly, in my head, I'm assuming that doing this research task may open up some avenues to get some sort of a bonus or something. I could be wrong, but in my head, that's the optimist in me. Like, this is important, and if I can prove that I can do this, good things will happen.
Really, it depends how capitalist Zepros really is.
Seems pretty capitalist.
Seems like a shakedown in the prologue.
All I'm saying is that there's lubrication, equal amount of grease, blood, and money. So
yeah. So I give the landlady my 250 Zenit. I said I had some savings. I'm going to tell her that I asked for an advance. On my job, explained that I had an emergency. I said I unfortunately I am being sent away on a research study for the university. I did not know about this before things transpired this morning. So here is 250 Zenit, my contribution, towards the general fund. I'm not sure how best to proceed. I was hoping to be there with you when you met with the, what was his name? Whoever the boss was.
Percy
the Pounder.
No, I remember Percy the Pounder, but Percy he's not a shot caller.
No. Oh, the actual money lender? You did not get his name.
Okay. So
Percy the Pounder's friend.
Yeah, I wanted to be there when you met with the moneylender, to show him that, in good faith, things are difficult, but that we are making every good faith effort to help you out. I don't know what are your plans? How did you see this going? I ask her.
Well, I think she thinks she can scrape together enough. The other tenants have put together a small collection and have basically paid in advance as well to help her cover some of the expenses. And so she thinks with the amount that you've done that she could probably take care of a payment or two based on this, and that'll hopefully allow her to find
Okay.
some other way to defer or I don't know, maybe even take care of this somewhere along the lines. But it's not exactly easy. Obviously, the amount of money she owes overall is not known, but um, obviously, this high interest loan shark business is very lucrative for some reason.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, as long as she's okay, I apologize for having to leave and disrupt the plans. But I mean, my belief is that Percy is sent out to collect money, and if he gets money, he's fine. If you still want to keep the meeting with the money lender and Percy's arranged it and you can explain things and you have a plan,
Mhm.
I think things are going to be fine. And I am happy to help explain the situation and how everybody loves, living in your boarding house, and we're all trying to come together and help everybody out so we can all, make a go of it, happy go lucky kind of thing. I apologize for the rush, but unfortunately my transportation leaves soon. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss? If she thinks things are going to be okay, then ish. I don't know what else to say.
As well as can be. She, it's kind of almost like grandmotherly, thanks you so much for everything and she basically gives you a small sack of biscuits for the road kind of thing.
Oh, thank you. These are great. These are amazing. Thank you. This makes all the difference.
And obviously and profusely thanks you from the bottom of her heart, hoping that you'll travel safe. Obvious you thinking of her while you're going on a major trip into the sea of sky is kind of backwards in her mind. So she appreciates everything that you've done. So
okay, then I would collect.
We're all happy you're a much nicer guy than finger guns, and I'm out.
Yeah, peace. That's not my character. I collect my toiletries. Undergarments, just some clothes. I mean, obviously, I don't own much. Period.
Yeah,
this is the least packed
I
two-man.
kind of have my stuff, and I
ever.
I explain to my neighbor. I knock on the door that I've paid a month in advance. I'm going on a research assignment for the university. I'm not giving anybody any details, and I'm praying that nobody asks because I'm a really bad liar.
Great.
Okay. Where are you going? I'm on a secret mission to save the world. See ya.
Yeah, that is definitely not what I'm saying.
Well, is it what you're saying?
We're going to a couple of different oases to study documents in the library, And
I'm not going with this weird dude from Acheron. I don't know what.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about anything like that. But I have some vague, and I obviously look like I'm in a hurry, but I don't want to be rude, and I'm very apologetic. But I'm sorry I have to get going, but I just wanted you to know what was happening, giving all the stuff that it was going on. I've already talked to the landlady. I forgot her name. I've already talked to her and everything's all right. And I'll be back just, as soon as we complete the research and, and let them know that, I gave the landlady, 100 Zenit and a month in advance. And, I'm oversharing, but they think they're used to that.
Hey man,
I think they're used to that. I've lived there for a while. And so be well. I will see you when I return.
They just chalk it up to the strange customs of your core dwelling life. So, okay. So for the conclusion of this scene, we will have you guys basically getting ready to depart and leaving the oasis of Zepros, heading with a bearing towards the city, the oasis of Quarth. Is that okay?
Yes.
Sounds good.
So since you have a few days to go between Zepro and Quarth, you can use this to kind of do any interlude type stuff that you would like. The idea being is that if anybody that wanted to start projects, which is what you can do, Jeff, because you have the ability to start projects.
I can start projects.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you wanted to necessarily, do anything like that in terms of like making specific potions, specific inventions.
I got the impression that it was all like with only one thing. It was all pretty random.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, really, the biggest limitation right now to your projects might be the fact that you don't have any money.
Well, that's true.
And so that the idea being is that within this, once you have your progress, you basically describe. So and this is just for your own benefit. Maybe we'll use this later, as you describe the invention's effects, how it operates, what does it require, and all that kind of stuff. If the invention is complex enough, you might have to split it between different inventions. So if you wanted to make a rocket launcher and missiles, you might have two inventions, where if you just wanted to make a alchemist fire potion, that would just be one. You know what I'm saying? So depending on
All
the
right, so
complexity.
I can actually do things that I make up, but I have to have an idea. Poop.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have an idea.
Yeah, and so it's not necessary. I don't
have enough money to do anything. I can't even do a minor one. All right.
Yeah,
Well, that's because you just gave all your money to some old lady.
I know, but that's always going to be an issue with me.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to let you know these are the type of scenes in which you would be able basically to talk about your projects, and then of course, because there are progress components to it, you use these downtime days to then put progress towards it. So it is effectively a crafting system to some degree. I just wanted to open it up and at least get your brain going about the type of gameplay that this provides, simply because I don't want you to forget it or anything like that.
Yeah, no, this is where I start thinking about how I can pilfer from, enemies.
Exactly.
If we have conversations on the boat or you're observant as we're traveling, you'll notice that a better spyglass might be nice, Mr. Tinkerer. Because I spend a lot of time like watching because the recent piracy episode.
Sure.
So
no, a spyglass would be neat, but I would need more money.
No, I'm just throwing out ideas for you.
That is a good one. If I could
Tinkerer ideas for later.
Sure. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good.
So just kind of think about
beings I don't imagine Isaias talks a lot unless you talk to him, and he feels like he has an answer to give you.
Well, I am very polite, and
Isaias is very polite too. But
do you feel like talking? And if you say yes, I will not stop talking until you excuse yourself. Because I have all kinds of questions about Acheron.
And he won't answer hardly any of those.
That's fine. That's fine, friend.
You basically start to work out a coded language between the two, where it's like the stuff that he will answer, the stuff he won't answer, anything he won't answer, just kind of like a grunt as in move on.
Is this just in my head, or are Acheronians taller? Are you average height, or
no? They're probably pretty tall. I was thinking they're pretty tall too.
Okay. For some reason in my head,
in their armor,
that way.
They look kind of alien, I guess. Really, is what it comes down to.
Yeah. No, you can be my large silent friend. That's fine. I still ask questions. I'm still very polite.
He tells you about his garden back on Acheron occasionally.
I refuse to shorten your name or give you a nickname, though.
He does tell you about his gardening occasionally in Acheron, which seems weird sometimes, but that
seems very weird. But I will ask. All
that's what he talks about.
Questions.
Just out of curiosity, do you have like a travel bonsai, Brent? That you?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking that he does have plants that he does have like a travel plant that he brings with him.
So it's all like ornamental plants and flowers and shrubs. It's not. Mm-hmm. It's not vegetables.
Nope, it's
It's kinda-
art plants. It's art plants. It's like
It would be funny if they grew vegetables just to like sculpt
aren't
with
they
or
beautiful?
something.
Aren't they
Just for the
beautiful
ink.
vegetables?
They
It's
grow
more,
beetroot just to make tattoo.
it's like the samurai gardening. Is kind of what
Okay.
I modeled it after.
Sort of kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
that sort of thing. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
he does have a travel plant that he brings. It's weird because it's
Okay.
like a mushroom hedge thing that grows flowers, but
Yeah, no, I'm not necessarily telling a lot of details. You know, I'm kind of guarded because the core dwellers aren't necessarily treated the best
oh, he will. He
by
actually,
any of the oases.
actually he probably does talk a little more than I thought because he probably does ask you questions about your culture.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not hiding stuff, but I'm not providing like huge amounts of detail, right?
Okay.
Because I realize.
Are you sure?
Well, maybe I am. You'll have to do an insight check.
I think our
Well-
conversations are more casual for now.
Yeah, I think they are, but yeah, I've never met a Acheronian. I have heard all kinds of stories, many of which I'm sure are incorrect because I've
Oh no, I tell you,
learned that
most
people
of
make
them,
assumptions.
I tell you, most of them are true.
Most of them are true, especially all the really, really fearsome ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's really just like the worst, like odd couple sort of situation. I think.
At least for now, yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's no trust. There's like we have to a degree.
Well, not just that, but like just a classic odd couple pairing of kind of the quiet
Yeah,
guy and the quiet, fairly studious. Like he's pretty.
I can make pyro oil.
He's pretty obsessive over some things. Like he's pretty regimented in like training, plant, observation time on the deck. Like he's very regimented on the things that he does. And so if you're outside of that at all, like you're gonna get weird looks.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, no, I'm not. If I feel like I'm pestering you or something, I say thank you for answering my questions, and we have quiet time.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. Well, then during this next scene, basically, you will both be there, but
We can talk to each other now.
Yeah, interlude is over.
We can talk
So
to each other
the peaceful journey is actually broken by a scene in which you see kind of a balloon. It's a ship. Obviously, it has a balloon, and it's more kind of like your traditional hot air balloons. The basket's a little bit bigger underneath it, but you can tell that this isn't the type of balloon that's usually used to travel long distances. It doesn't seem.
I shoot our balloon popping ballista at it.
Okay. Fire your balloon popping ballista at it. What does that entail exactly?
I don't know.
I ask Ozias if he can identify the ship.
Yeah, I look up through the spyglass and I immediately start looking for pirate flags. Is what I look for.
It doesn't actually look like there's it doesn't carry any flags or anything like that. And just kind of like I was saying, it's kind of more like your traditional balloon. It's a rounded shaped balloon. There's the 4 ropes that lead down to a rectangular basket. The basket doesn't seem very large though, but you notice that one of the ropes has been cut, so the basket is actually hanging at an angle. And you can also see that there's, the basket has holes in it, and those types of things. Surprisingly, the balloon itself doesn't have any holes in it, which is
Are there people in the basket?
Not that you can see from this angle. No.
But I can't identify. It doesn't have any colors or anything like that.
There isn't a flag or any type of. I mean, the material is just kind of like a canvas balloon. It doesn't.
I say it doesn't look like it's from one of the city states. I hand you the spyglass to say maybe it's from one of the island. Maybe it's one of the outsider islands,
Right.
like yours being the unsaid part.
Yeah,
like yours.
Exactly.
You want me to do it? It seems generic, right? It seems like a small craft that.
Yeah, it wasn't. It doesn't look like it was designed for anything that would be related to like long range or.
But okay, it looks like something has happened to it, or perhaps they've been attacked.
Yeah.
Given if we weren't on this mission, I would my first impression would be to immediately go over and investigate. But the fact that the balloon wasn't struck when all the damage was done to the basket and the ropes connecting the basket does give me pause. Is it possible that this is a trap?
Well, I agree. It very possibly could be a trap, but also pirates wouldn't want whatever possessions to fall out of the sky.
Okay.
They wouldn't want the resources to just fall out of the sky, so they might not puncture the balloon. But I see no reason to stop. There doesn't seem to be any people in the basket, and the basket doesn't look like.
How far away is it, Mike?
Not terribly far away. You could you could adjust your heading and intercept it within probably half an hour of travel.
I think we should at least try to, divert at least to get close and shout to the basket, or see if we can see if there's anybody, present that needs aid. I'd hate to be stranded in a ship like that.
All right, I'll fly closer.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So as you fly closer,
I will be if Ozias is flying, I'm observing and trying to see if I can see anything else.
Yeah.
As we continue to get close and looking at the ship, and also just in case I see any other ships in the area or anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's kind of hard to hide these things.
Sure. So so you don't see any other ships, and you as you make your heading towards this in kind of an intercept course. As you get closer, though, you do see that there may be some movement in the basket, but it's not something that's very large. Not like an adult or anything like that, based on the proportions, unless the basket is like different proportion that you're expecting. It looks probably a little bit more like a child-sized individual.
Something small moving around in the basket. I can't quite tell what it is, but it does appear like there's something moving.
I'm reminded of the Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy scene where he says, if you wait long enough, the problem will solve itself. I fly closer on his direction if he wants to check it out.
Okay. Yeah. So as you get closer, it doesn't look as though, you'd have to do something you could, use like a grappling hook and grapple that over. But you said you were going to get close enough to kind of yell over?
Yeah. Like, hello, are you in trouble? Do you need assistance?
Okay. As you say that, you kind of see like a small pair of hands go to the side of the basket, and not like too small, not like 5 years old or anything like that, but definitely larger child, maybe in the 8 to 10 range, kind of like looks over the edge. And you can see only one child that kind of is looking at this point, and they say, "Help me! Help me!"
Are you alone?
Distressed. They scream back, "Yes, everyone! There was an attack."
I think we should go closer. I tell Ozias. Let's try to get in within grapple range, Ozias, so we can see if we can pull it over.
This isn't a trap. There's no way this isn't a trap.
What are you talking about?
You have a very large spear. I'll use the grappling hook. I'll pull him over, and I'm sure there's a joke in there about Acheronians.
I'm sure this is not going to go well. But in the
how big does the basket look? Like it could hold? Does it look like a hot air balloon basket? So
yeah, so
5 or 6 feet across, 8 feet across.
It's actually about 8 feet across on the narrow side, and about 10 feet to 12 feet maybe wide. Okay. So it's a rectangular shape, and you would probably suspect that 2 or 3 people could be in there at the most comfortably. But since the basket is hanging by only 3 of the ropes really.
Okay.
You can't say that you can see anybody else. This person was hiding in like the lowest part of the basket for dear life, it looks like.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try to grapple the basket and try to pull it closer.
So yeah, I get as close as he needs but no closer. Thanks.
Okay. Let's go ahead and just call this a straight up dex roll
Okay.
for me, just so you can kind of like, as you're kind of like using your finesse and everything like that to grapple.
That was
the
a
basket.
10 on a dex.
Okay, that's perfect. You kind of, and you hit the basket far away from the child, and you pretty much the claws of your hook just grab into the wicker component, and it allows you to pull
All
it
right.
over.
I yell out, I'm pulling you closer. When we get close, you're gonna need to, crawl out of the basket, but I'll tell you when. What's your name?
They scream back, "My."
We're gonna help you. It's just gonna take a few minutes here. Keep talking to me. Where are you from?
They look at you and they say, "I'm from the island."
Do you know which island? Does it have a name?
Looks and says, "It's the island. It's maybe you would call it Quarth."
I've heard of Quarth, but I didn't think it was around here. How long have you been traveling?
I've had to sleep for a few days on this basket. And they look worried.
Okay. How close?
You're
as
basically
I'm
pulling them in, and it's you only get a couple of questions before
Okay.
you're in a
Okay.
position where you can navigate them. Now, there is obviously the opportunity that if you want to push them
Off the edge.
Heart of Gold.
do the who was the Game of Thrones guy?
The Sky Door.
Jamie. Yeah, no, not the Sky. Just Jamie pushing Bran Stark out the window.
At this point, I would
When he
be
caught him
really
with his
upset.
sister.
I would be really upset if you pushed the kid because we did a lot of work to get over here.
I know.
Jeez.
Mai, is there anybody else in there with you?
No, it's just me.
Do you have any possessions that you need to throw over first?
No, I
Because
wasn't
once
able
you come
to
out of the
any.
basket, we're gonna let go of the boat.
This is no. I was barely able to escape.
All right. If you look over the edge, you can see us, and we're right here. I'm gonna need you to jump to me.
Okay. So they, since you've brought the basket over, and it's kind of like one of those things where you've brought it as close as you can, you do have a rope connection between the two.
Okay.
But because of how the balloons are and everything like that, it's really impossible to get a good distance between them. So there's a few different ways that you could obviously get them over.
Just tie it off and haul it. I don't know.
Yeah. You do have a rope ladder that you could throw over to there, and they could use that to go, but that would obviously not be stable, and they would basically grab onto the rope ladder and then have to swing over kind of thing. You don't have any boarding ladders, one could say. You're not a pirate vessel or a military ship.
I look at Ozias. You have any ideas
on how to get the kid to our boat?
Yeah.
No.
All right. Grab the grappling hook and pull him over. That's what it is.
Well, you're right. We can't get him close enough to jump, but assuming that it's attached tight enough, these things don't go that fast. Is it feasible to tow them?
You could have him. We can't tow it. It's going to slow us down too much on our mission. I mean, can he not climb over to the grappling hook and
They can. I mean,
climb over?
they can definitely.
I mean, he
Yeah,
can climb
my can you climb down the rope that's attaching our two boats?
even if he can get to the rope and then hold on tight enough to where we can try and pull him up.
Okay. So my agrees to that they can get to the rope, so they can go over there. They're a little hesitant to, obviously just fling themselves over the side, but if you tie them off and everything like that, they're willing to come over. If basically if they have a safety and all that. Now they do seem adept at tying knots and stuff, so they can. I mean, this is life living in the sky, right? Like everyone. they're not that far away from an edge, no matter where you go, and they seem able to kind of scurry across the rope and everything like that.
Okay.
The getting over to the other boat, you do see that it's a kind of a child, probably between 8 to 10, brown hair that's really just kind of just dirty.
I'm really suspicious that he's kind of a child and not really a child.
Bad choice of word. It is a child that has dirt. It kind of has hair that is windblown and definitely has been exposed to the elements for the last few days. The clothing seems to be rather basic. It's more like how do I say it? It's how the kind of like when you look at like farmers or anything like that, it's just like a simple shirt. It crosses over, there's a tie in the front, and then wearing simple pants and shoes. The pants themselves, I mean, everything looks warm enough to be in the sky.
He's kind of wearing like a tunic and breeches kind of.
Yeah. But definitely nothing like, it's not fancy or anything like that. Does have a necklace with a small jade colored stone in the center on the neck. And she introduces herself as Mai again, and she thanks you profusely for coming to get her and the fortune that she's had after what happened.
Do you know who attacked you, Mai?
And she looks at you, and she's like, we don't. I mean, we're simple people. We don't have anybody that would come and do this. And at first they seemed like they were very nice. Their ship showed up in the sky. They stopped. They spoke with the elders, but then once they were done speaking, they started attacking. It was the only.
Did you see any of them?
Mm-hmm. She does. She did.
Did they have jewelry on?
She kind of asked, like, what kind of jewelry?
Like, what do they wear? I mean, we know they wear these in Torin, don't we?
Yeah, they wear the accessories on all of their appendages.
Yeah, like bands on their neck and throat and wrists and ankles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were wearing those. They seemed like mighty warriors, but when they said they wanted to talk, the elders were happy to speak with them. They wanted to talk about the sky, which that's their favorite topic.
So which elders were you traveling with? Were they family members or people from your village?
Oh, she wasn't traveling.
She escaped.
She basically got into a balloon.
She got in a balloon. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Yeah, we should go. We have to go scout out the island at least.
Warth got attacked.
Yeah, and we know
not the balloon got attacked.
Correct.
The balloon was.
Okay. Yeah, the island's been attacked. There may be nothing left of the island by the time we get there. So I will get the boat to go as fast as possible towards where we knew where Quark was.
All right. I do the nifty little wrist flick thing to detach the grappling hook.
And done.
And then pull it back in.
If I was trying to do that, Mike would make me roll for it, and I would fail it and grapple hook the kid and pull her off the boat.
I tried to say it with enough confidence. Because the other option is I untie and let go of the rope.
No, I think you got your grapple hook back. I'm just saying, what would happen if it was me?
I feel wounded that that's what you think that would happen here, because I mean, at the end of the day, you guys are very heroic. You can take a grappling hook out of a basket with just a
And
simple
there'd be a
flick of the wrist.
Wilhelm scream as she fell out of the boat.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that would be more like the Pathfinder game. How about that?
Well, that's
Oh,
probably true.
you roll to see if you unhook your thing.
I asked Maya if she's hungry. I tell her I have some very tasty biscuits.
Yeah, no, if you offer her food, she is more than happy to
I have
eat.
biscuits and water.
I
yeah.
leave the spyglass with you and tell you to keep an eye out, because we
Okay.
need to make sure that there's no hostile. I mean, we need to watch for Taran ships at this point.
Agreed.
And then I try and get the boat to move as fast as possible towards the island.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So after she gets on board, you kind of have major adjustments. You're feeding her and everything like that. She, you readjust your heading and you get yourself pointed in the direction of Korth, and you make way. Okay. So the next part, and so that during that scene, do you guys have any questions before we conclude of other than what you've already asked?
Maybe try to find out about her family. Does she know if they were okay when she got on the boat? Trying to get information about her family, their names, if she knows them, parents, siblings.
Yeah. So, well, obviously she knows her
Jobs.
family.
That kind of shit.
She
seems old enough to at least be able to provide some information, so we can ask when we get there. We have Bob the Stonecutter's daughter. You know what I mean? Rather than, I don't know if every other female child is on this place is named Mai. We found Mai.
All the kids are named Mai until they hit 15.
That would be an awkward culture. You're just one of the many. You got to earn your name.
You have to. Yes, you do. You have to earn your name.
I tell you, we should probably be prepared for there not to be anybody left.
No, I agree. But if there's,
I don't say that in front of
surviving,
her. I try not to say that in front of her, but if she overhears, I really don't care either.
I do, though. So
I know you do, and I'm trying to respect that. He knows that you do, so he's trying to respect that.
I am trying. I'm just saying, we want to help you. We happen to be going that way.
Okay. Yeah. So she goes into kind of once she realizes that you guys aren't threatening, she is a little bit off-put by Brent's just alien visage and warrior-like physique. So she does tend to gravitate towards you, Jeff, even though, you yourself are different than the average person, your core dwelling heritage, but you're just so friendly.
He's not a weird masked stranger, too.
With a spear and a spyglass, like poking at her. And so she does. I mean, once you feed her and everything like that, she does seem willing to answer your questions. She tells you her name is Mai. She's got a small family, and they're moisture farmers, effectively. There's more dense clouds and everything like that they use to get water. And they basically collect that water for the tribe. They're not the only
Luke Skywalker, Brent.
Oh,
and I almost said I throw her off the boat for being a Star Wars reference, but
yeah, I realized as soon as I thought
I was going to avoid saying that, but then you just pushed me, Jeff.
For a second, I thought she was the chosen one. I thought she was, the Tauran Messiah come to life.
Still time. No, but like I mean, so if it helps, not only do they collect water, but they also
have lightsabers,
they also fish,
grow mushrooms.
They also fish the sky, providing the smaller beasts and stuff like that. That's what this balloon is for. That's why it's not so large. It's really only for short ranging around the island and everything. Usually tethered for the most part, and so that it can get back to the island without basically leaving the island, getting a crosswind, and then finding itself on the other side of the world, kind of thing.
Right. No, wherever. Yeah. No.
Mhm.
Okay. I think for now, I mean, we have an idea who attacked her. I ask, I let her know my name. I'm
Mhm.
Drum. This is my friend Ozias. He's very nice. He's from a place called Acheron. Because I can see her being skeptical, and I just basic, stuff like
Mhm.
you would with a kid.
Yeah.
Not
No,
too much,
she.
not too little, but not trying to make it seem like we're not hiding anything from her without also giving her any details or specifics.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust her either.
So she says like, I've heard about the Acheronians, and they're scary. I was told that we shouldn't talk with them.
Well, you don't have to talk to Ozias. He certainly won't go out of his way to talk to you. But Ozias is my friend, so if you need something, you can talk to him, or you can just talk to me.
I don't argue.
Yeah, Ozias stares steely into the horizon.
Jeez. Yeah, no, so she definitely does focus on talking with you, Jeff. And I mean, she's willing to answer any questions that you have. She does mention that, when she's afraid that her family was attacked, because she made her way up to the balloon alone, and her family was supposed to follow her up there. But as soon as the balloon basically got cut free, and then that's when she drifted off.
Right.
Now, obviously, your impression is that she probably presented under the not worth the effort to pursue. No,
Getting a free floating balloon, probably, that one person not obviously carrying anything, probably. And she didn't seem to say much when we let it go, like,
yeah, there was there was definitely no rings of power on board, or whatever
That's
it may
good.
be. She didn't have the secret weapon hiding in the other corner. That doesn't seem to be the case.
All right. I ask her if she's cold. Does she need a blanket?
Yeah, her clothes are dirty, and you can tell that there's soot and stuff like that that's kind of mixed in. You suggest for reasons, but what's
Point
that?
of order. How do we go to the bathroom up here? I mean, is everybody just shit over the side, or are there facilities on the boat?
There's probably chamber pots that we throw over the side.
I mean, that would be my thought.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just asking.
Because there isn't a bilge because there's no water.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't want to
I show her where the chamber pot is.
I don't want to take
the corner of the deck. I assume that she knows the operation.
I don't want to take.
I'm gonna get her a blanket.
I don't want to take the time to design an air bilge or what that would consist of.
Brent's sketching plans. These savages don't even have a vacuum tube to just evacuate you, all the way up to your.
No, you go to the bathroom in the chamber pot and then say special delivery when you throw it over the side.
So I know this is that tangential stuff, but did you guys ever hear about those cargo cults that were over in the islands and stuff like that? Do you guys know anything about that?
No,
so
actually,
you should look it up. But I know this is off topic, but there are these things that are like these cargo cults, and they were kind of like what happens when like you have a secluded island and everything like that, and random stuff just started washing up and all that on their shores, and then of course when they met people, they basically they viewed these visitors from more technologically advanced things as kind of like divine messengers and stuff like that. So and it was introduced in about World War II, and
are these the people that make like airplane things that of like?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, they basically they're these indigenous folks that started building in the spirit of the people that they saw to pretend to be like those people.
Oh, wow.
And it kind of started this old it's sort of this whole thing about like they're called cargo cults and everything like that. But it was like apparently late 1800s is when it really began. And it's just super weird.
There's newer cults. There's newer cults that still do that like that don't have very much contact with the modern world, but they see like planes going over and stuff all the time, and they like build effigies that look like Delta airliners and just weird like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they become icons of just icons that represent gods.
Well, and they would cut out the jungle to make like landing strips for these people in hopes that these divine messengers would like stop by and stuff. It's super weird.
And drop things, because occasionally they would drop like supplies too. So like it was a boon to have this flying god pass over your tribe. And yeah, it's weird how it became like, yeah, it was really interesting to see.
But needless to say, you throwing a chamber pot overboard is not the same.
Special delivery.
Yeah, no, that's what they yell. They just yell to the core dwellers. Treasure incoming.
This highly nutritious rain is dropping down.
God, oh.
Wherever it lands, the plants grow better.
Oh man.
Moving on. That's how you know you got to the end of the stream.
Oh, you broke me. You broke me. Oh.
Well, I get Maya a blanket and
and
a pillow, you know, and you know, kind of try to make her a bed. I'm assuming after the food and the water and the, you know, talk, that maybe she'll want to lay down. And I mean, she can use one of the cabins. I don't care.
Okay. Actually, I suggest we sleep in shifts now.
Okay.
If we didn't have a night watch before, we definitely should now.
We probably should now. Yeah. No, I agree.
And just so you're aware, she doesn't have accessories other than just the necklace.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the necklace. I did mean to ask her. It's a very pretty necklace. Where'd you get that?
She says she got it from her mother. You know, and there's basically each one of her siblings has one as well, because their mother was basically her mother comes from a line of masons and stuff like that.
Okay,
crafters.
This is foreshadowing for the audience.
Yeah. No, you know, I just asked her, oh, does the stone mean anything special? Is that like the symbol of your mother's love or anything? Or, you know, is there a story attached? Did your mother tell you a story when she gave it to you?
Nope, just a pretty rock.
People do all kinds of things with kids. Okay, pretty rock. That's good. That's fine. Okay.
She mentions,
that's all I needed.
She's like, no, but it is a stone that is common on the island, and of course, mother liked to carve it.
Well, it's lovely. Would you like to go to sleep now? You've been through a lot.
She goes to sleep when prompted.
There's no TV.
Okay, and so we'll go ahead and end that scene with Maya on the ship with our two adventurers on their way to Korth, and I think we'll go ahead and leave it at 90 minutes for tonight.
Okay,
we'll go ahead and leave it at nutritious rain. Is that where we're going to leave it?
If anybody makes it to that, that's just their Easter egg. For the,
that is their Easter egg.
Oh man, I feel like that's a code word or a safety word from now on. We've gone too far. Nutritious rain, nutritious rain, nutritious rain.
It gets shortened to Nutri-Rain.
Nutri-Rain. Yeah.
extra rain.
Well, that's the brand name, Nutri-Rain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off on that tangent, but my brain just kind of was like,
that's okay.
No, the cargo cults thing was really interesting.
It was.
Yeah.
And I had fun. And I hope that if anybody watched all the way to the end, you enjoyed us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was good. Honestly,
Are we still streaming, or did you shut it off?
We're still streaming. So I wanted to say, Jeff, if you want to sign us out, thank anybody that stopped by, and then of course, Jeff, let them know how they can get a hold of us, and Brent, say your farewells, and we'll go ahead and chalk this up as another Monday night live stream. Eventually to compete with Monday Night Football. I'm sure that's going to go.
I don't think our viewership will go down, but I don't think it'll increase either. So if you're watching and you want to get a hold of us, you can find us on Twitter/X, YouTube, Facebook, or Threads at Rollwise. If you'd like to email us, it's rollwiseguys@gmail.com.
And thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Those of you who did stick around, or those of you who listened to the stream afterwards. As always, roll well and roll wise, and be safe out there. Thank you, everybody.
All right.